Here are the top stories for today, February 2nd, 2022. Time to let go of COVID-19 alert level system. A palace official says not so fast, citing the need to further ramp up vaccination in other parts of the country. Some local government units in Metro Manila continue to implement restrictions for the unvaccinated, even as the region is under a more relaxed alert level 2. An official says local peace engagements are more effective in addressing the country's insurgency problem, saying this shift has achieved more gains. And the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency says over 24,000 villages have been cleared of illegal drugs, expressing confidence that more will be drug cleared in the coming months. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The government says it is not yet time to remove the alert level system in the country, as other regions still need to ramp up their COVID-19 vaccination drive. In an interview, Cabinet Secretary and acting presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles said the country's alert level system needs to be in place as COVID-19 may become endemic. As such, he said, more provinces need to intensify their vaccination program, noting that Metro Manila has already achieved its high inoculation rate. He also noted the possibility of seeing another surge brought by COVID-19 mutations. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion earlier said the country may move out from the alert level system around March or April this year. He said both businesses and consumers have embraced basic protocols such as wearing of face masks, sanitizing, physical distancing, and isolation when symptoms are present. Concepcion also highlighted the critical role of COVID-19 vaccines, including booster shots to provide protection for Filipinos against being infected. As the government lifted the no vax, no ride policy in Metro Manila, MMDA Chairperson Benher Abalos said the local government units can still implement the rule in their areas. In a Laging Handa press briefing, Abalos said the local government units can still enact the policy even after Metro Manila reverted to alert level 2 status. The Philippine National Police reminds parents to strictly monitor their children when going outdoors. This as the National Capital Region reverts to Alert Level 2, which allows intrazonal and interzonal movement until February 15. PNP Chief General Leonardo Carlos said it is better to keep children at home, especially when there is no important purpose of bringing them outside, in order to avoid being caught up in crowded places. He also advised unit commanders to verify the adjustments in policies in their respective LGUs, as it may impose restrictions subject to the evaluation of the IATF. Under Alert Level 2, establishments are allowed to operate at a maximum of 50% indoor venue capacity and 70% outdoor venue capacity for fully vaccinated individuals and those below 18 years of age, even if unvaccinated. Fitness and sports enthusiasts can now resume their group exercises and contact sports as the National Capital Region, or NCR, shifts to a less restrictive Alert Level 2 classification. In San Juan, group exercises such as the Zumba session are now allowed for all ages regardless of vaccination status. The local government says group exercises can be done at the Pinaglabanan Shrine and other open-air areas at 70% maximum capacity and must follow the health and safety protocols such as wearing a face mask and physical distancing. Meanwhile, the no vax card, no entry policy will still be enforced in all business establishments and public transportation, except when transacting essential services or buying food items, medicines, and dental procedures. In Pasig City, the local government is now allowing contact sports such as basketball in various covered courts permitted by the barangay or the city government, but for vaccinated players only. Covered courts in subdivisions or condominiums will also be opened with permission from the management of the Homeowners Association. Mayor Vico Soto said games in other playing courts can be stopped by authorities if health and safety protocols are violated. An update on COVID-19 vaccination drive in the provinces. Tarlac has reached its 1 million mark of vaccinated residents since the start of its vaccination rollout last year. Of the total doses administered, 101,886 were first doses and 899,916 got their second shot. The province of Tarlac is one of the areas in Central Luzon which is still under Alert Level 3 from February 1 to 15. Other places under the same alert level are the provinces of Aurora, Bataan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Zambales, and the cities of Angeles and Olongapo. Eastern Visayas is also targeting at least 1 million vaccinated individuals in their 3-day vaccination campaign, which ends today. Based on the latest data from the Eastern Visayas COVID-19 vaccination dashboard, a total of 2.21 million residents, or 44.5% of the region's total population, are now fully vaccinated, while 2.37 million individuals are administered with first doses. Over 2.27 million unvaccinated residents are expected to avail of the life-saving jab soon. So far, the region noted its lowest daily number of infections yesterday, with 60 new confirmed COVID-19 cases. The provinces of Biliran and Southern Leyte have been placed under Alert Level 2 starting February 1, while the rest of the region, including its capital city of Tacloban, is categorized under a stricter Alert Level 3. More displaced or disadvantaged workers received livelihood assistance from the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE. In Ilocos Sur, some 1,047 displaced workers received a total of 7 million pesos worth of livelihood assistance. The latest batch of beneficiaries includes some 60 rural women of Santa in Ilocos Sur who received a check worth 1 million pesos to restart their bagong upo or salted goby fry business. Sari-sari store owners were also provided with livelihood assistance, while others received bicycles that come with an Android phone or load worth 5,000 pesos to be used in their delivery business. Aside from livelihood packages, DOLE also provides emergency employment through its Tupad program. The Department of Agriculture is negotiating with China to avail fertilizer at a lower price. This is in preparation for the first planting season in the country. The department's Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority says the country needs 600,000 metric tons of fertilizer, but the government inventory currently holds 200 metric tons. To date, the price of the commonly imported fertilizer urea is at $900 per ton, which will retail for 2,400 to 3,000 pesos per bag. It only cost about $300 in February and March last year. The DA says the price increase is caused by high demand in India, Australia, the United States, and Brazil, while big suppliers like China and Russia are withholding their exports to ensure their domestic requirements are met. The DA is still negotiating with China for $500 per metric tons. DA Secretary William Dar previously urged farm cooperatives to import fertilizers directly from international producers and suppliers. Still ahead, local government units across the country are bracing for the conduct of bar exams. And voters are urged to check the stand of poll bets on peace talks with the communist rebels. Details ahead. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom. Authorities have identified the username of the TikTok account which is behind the alleged assassination plot against presidential aspirant Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. The PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group said the TikTok account username is @LJLuna7 and has been permanently banned from the platform. ACG Chief Brigadier General Robert Rodriguez says the TikTok account had already been deleted, but they were able to save pieces of evidence from its post. He said the account supports the Kabataan party list with 133 followers. Rodriguez says while online threats are not common or regular, the emergence of this kind of online activity is probably due to the upcoming elections. Local government units hosting this year's bar exams have announced their preparations to keep the examination safe from COVID-19 and unwanted political color. Here is our report from Marita Mawai.
The Quezon City government conducted COVID-19 rapid antigen tests to ensure that the examination of February 4 and 6 will not be a super spreader event. A 20-man team scheduled the antigen test at the University of the Philippines College of Human Kinetics Gym on Wednesday and Thursday. The Supreme Court will provide the test kits while the QC Epidemiology and Disease Surveillance Unit will oversee the testing process. The QC Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office and the QC Fire District will also set up tents at the UP campus. The Task Force for Transport and Traffic Management will surround the immediate vicinity on the 2 examination dates. Meanwhile, Zamboanga City is ready for its first ever hosting of the bar exams as one of the 5 testing centers in Mindanao for this year. Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco Salazar said that the venue of the bar exams is the Ateneo de Zamboanga University. Salazar issued Executive Order 703 to ensure traffic-free travel for both examinees and Supreme Court personnel to the testing venue. The bar examination will also be simultaneously held in the cities of Davao, General Santos, Cagayan de Oro, and Iligan. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has asked the city government of Bacolod to prohibit the display of political and election-related materials that mention the bar exams. The University of St. LaSalle Bacolod will be among the local testing centers. In a letter to Mayor Evelio Leonardia, Associate Justice Marvic Leonan pointed out that the Supreme Court has the constitutionally mandated task to administer the bar exams and has the exclusive authority to regulate admissions to the practice of law. He said it is a court function which should be carried out with respect and courtesy. The SC reset the bar exam from its previous schedule on January 23 and 25 after some examinees and exam personnel contracted COVID-19 or had to quarantine. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Marita Muaje.
The Department of the Interior and local government hailed the local government units that are achieving their peace and economic development goals through the Retooled Community Support Program, or RCSP. DILG Director Rene Valera said the RCSP success is evident in the national government's basic service delivery, where regional agencies channel services down to the barangay level. Valera said the RCSP empowered the barangays and those groups at the bottom level affected by armed conflict. Meanwhile, the Capacitating Urban Communities for Peace and Development program tasks local government units to upgrade their governance towards the weaker sectors. Valera said the RCSP gives the LGUs the authority to come up with platforms with the involvement of the public to find solutions towards proper governance and attaining progress. A former New People's Army official is calling on voters to scrutinize their candidates based on their support for the peace process with the communist movement. Former NPA Education Secretary Alma Gabin labeled the peace talks with the communist terrorist group as fake, as disclosed by its former members. She said she is saddened that some presidential candidates push for peace talks despite the rebels' questionable sincerity to attain peace. She's told voters not to vote for candidates who are treacherous, to the peace and development of the people. Gabin, who used to be the 5th nominee of the NPA-linked Kabataan party list, said the government is already addressing the root cause of insurgency through the National Task Force on Ending Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC. She said there is no reason for the next president to talk to the communist terrorists since the local peace engagements are working. The government is pushing for local peace engagement, or LPE, in pursuing the peace process with the communist movement. Wilben Mayor, Undersecretary of the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, said the whole-of-nation approach has been efficient in resolving the long-standing armed revolution pushed by communist terrorist groups and their allies. Mayor noted that the government did not terminate the peace process but instead shifted to the LPE approach. He said the government will honor its agreements and contribute to the overall development, healing, reconciliation, and unity of all conflict-affected and conflict-vulnerable communities. Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. earlier said the LPE has helped LGUs and affected communities to directly address the roots of insurgency. The armed forces of the Philippines also support the LPE approach, saying the government is more committed to using local peace engagement due to its more immediate and positive results. Major General Eduardo De Leon, commander of the Catbalogan Samar-based 8th Infantry Division, said the government can immediately respond to demands that lead countrymen into insurgency. He said the LPEs are ideal for dealing with the CPP, NPA, NDF elements agitating locals in the grassroots. Through the LPE, De Leon said the complaints of local communities are aired and answered by local chief executives, clearing issues and exposing the lies made by the NPA. Moving on to business, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry has called for free and more accessible COVID-19 antigen testing for the public. PCCI President George Barcelon said access to free antigen testing will help to avoid another surge in cases as mobility increases under Alert Level 2. Barcelon also called on the government to procure more antigen test kits, saying this form of assistance, especially to micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, could bolster confidence in opening up the economy. The PCCI executive also lauded the government for placing Metro Manila back to Alert Level 2 and for implementing a scaled-up vaccination program. He said the PCCI has noted a better balance between economic concerns and the health requirements of COVID-19 response. Up next, the Philippines and Singapore deepen ties on education and security. And PDEA says over 24,000 villages have so far been drug cleared. More stories when the PNA Newsroom returns. The Philippines and Singapore expressed eagerness to further enhance bilateral relations in the areas of education, security, and defense. This was among the subjects discussed during a bilateral meeting between Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. and his Singaporean counterpart, Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, on January 31st. In a statement, the Singapore Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the two countries look forward to the restoration of travel links once the COVID-19 situation has eased. Last year, the Philippines and Singapore agreed to intensify cooperation in maritime domain awareness, counter-terrorism, defense industry development, intelligence exchange, joint military training, and law enforcement. Meanwhile, Singapore is among the 157 countries that enjoy visa-free entry to the Philippines. Based on recent government pronouncements, fully vaccinated Singaporean tourists would be allowed entry to the country starting February 10, subject to protocols. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, reports that more than 24,000 barangays have been cleared from illegal drugs since the start of the Duterte administration's crackdown in 2016. Based on PDEA's latest real numbers data released on Tuesday, over 11,000 barangays have also yet to be cleared of illegal drug activity. PDEA spokesperson Derek Carrion said that before declaring that a barangay is drug-free, the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs must validate the non-availability of drug supply and sources, the absence of drug transit activity, and drug pushers and users in the area. Authorities, meanwhile, dismantled a total of 993 drug dens and 18 clandestine shabu laboratories from July 2016 to December 2021. About 75 billion pesos worth of illegal drugs were seized, including 63 billion pesos worth of shabu. Over 14,000 high-value targets were arrested in 220,000 operations. The Department of Agriculture has ordered the stricter implementation of biosecurity and quarantine protocols in Region 12 or Soxargen to contain and prevent the spread of African swine fever. In a statement, DA Region 12 Director Dennis Arpia called on all local officials and swine industry stakeholders to sustain efforts to manage, contain, and control ASF through the 1710 protocol. The order comes after health officials confirmed and contained an ASF case in Purok San Lorenzo, Barangay Apopong in General Santos City. Under the 1710 protocol, the LGU will cull all pigs within 1 kilometer of the affected farm, while the movement of pork and pork products within 7 kilometers will be limited. The DA and LGUs will also conduct surveillance and monitoring within the 10-kilometer radius of the ASF-affected area. Filipinos who want to help others by donating their blood can now reach out to the Philippine Red Cross at its 99th blood facility in Nograles, Quezon City. Red Cross Cruci Chair Ernesto Isla, other PRC officials, and local executive graced the launch on January 27. In a statement, the PRC cited the constant need for blood donations to help sick Filipinos. 14 villages will benefit from the newly opened blood facility. It can accommodate 6 donors at a time and about 30 to 50 persons daily. The PRC is the provider of 50% of the country's blood supply. The Red Cross has 104 chapters. Its hotline 143 will answer all blood-related concerns. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Time to let go of COVID-19 alert level system. A palace official says not so fast, citing the need to further ramp up vaccination in other parts of the country. Some local government units in Metro Manila continue to implement restrictions for the unvaccinated, even as the region is under a more relaxed alert level 2. An official says local peace engagements are more effective in addressing the country's insurgency problem, saying this shift has achieved more gains. And the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency says over 24,000 villages have been cleared of illegal drugs, expressing confidence that more will be drug cleared in the coming months. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, everyone.